Greetings to you all, gamers and strategists, and welcome back to our channel. Empire management is a core feature of the 4X genre, and traditionally speaking, the bigger the empire, the easier it was to win. Resources were usually tied to territory, with the optimal strategy to rush out and take as much land and resource production as quickly as possible. More recently, 4X has evolved to allow players the option to win with much smaller empires, and Galactic Civilizations IV Supernova is no exception. So, what is tall versus wide? Let's take a look at classic 4X games before Galactic Civilizations IV hit the scene. Resource acquisition is one of the core goals of a 4X game, and is primarily achieved through taking and holding physical territory. Traditionally, most resources are generated and spent in population centres, and victory conditions are usually tied to them too. The player seeks out new settlements and expands the size of their territory as quickly and as far as possible, until they bump up against the physical borders of another player, at which point the game changes to one of exploitation of resources and diplomacy and warfare with rival factions. The player will try to build or secure as many settlements as possible, with minimal infrastructure in each, just enough to support this continual expansion strategy and leaving aside further development until no further territory or settlements can be easily acquired. This is called playing wide, and in most classic 4X games is usually the optimal strategy, as with all other things being equal, the player with the most resources will win the game. Playing tall means the player limits themselves to a much smaller territory and a handful of settlements, often with a single colony or city as their main production hub. Classic 4X games weren't designed to easily facilitate tall playstyles, so it's usually reserved for more casual play on lower difficulties, or by experts who have mastered the game systems and are looking for a difficult challenge. A tall strategy can be appealing to players who want less overall colony management in their game. Galactic Civilizations IV Supernova opens the door to this playstyle with an innovative take on the classic Space 4X formula. Let's take a look at how. Firstly, a tall style requires just a few very well developed, high-class core worlds, and one way to increase a core's resource production is to feed it with plenty of colonies, increasing planetary input. Careful placement of districts and improvements will provide big bonuses to planetary output, as all those resources are processed by your core world's industrial machine. The higher the class of the core world, the more citizens it can house, with each citizen providing a big boost to planetary output, and can be individually trained to further specialise them as required. Starbases with advanced modules can provide very large modifiers to a core world's resource production, and as these bonuses stack, building several of these huge orbital structures around your core world and any linked colonies can dramatically increase resource production. One weakness of a tall empire will be a lack of shipyards, which could mean a smaller fleet to defend with. However, military starbases are powerful, and are particularly effective in guarding the smaller territory typically seen in tall play, allowing smaller fleets to be used more effectively. With attached colonies providing a boost to a core world's planetary input, and districts, improvements, citizens, and starbases all stacking up modifiers to convert that into planetary output, just one core world can become a production powerhouse in your tall empire. Let's take a look at these two opposing principles as they might be used by the Archaeans, played out on the same map. Let's play wide. First, we send out probes to map the sector and find as many potential core worlds and colonies as possible, and then engineer our civilization to facilitate rapid growth of citizens and construction of colony ships, all the while keeping an eye out for our rivals. When playing wide, we need to expand out as far and as fast as we can, but we don't want other civilizations taking resources or colonies inside our proposed borders. As we take each core world, we build enough infrastructure to support a shipyard and maximise citizen growth, and then keep pumping out the colony ships. We'll aim for xenobiology early, as its colonial clinic gives a big boost to growth. 20 turns after the first, we've got 3 core worlds and 3 attached colonies, with 21 citizens in total. Not a bad start. Playing very wide like this invariably results in an underdeveloped civilization. We've not built any military vessels, we've not secured any strategic resources, and our research is lacking, but we've sowed the seeds of a large empire, and the game is still young. 40 turns after the game's start, we've grabbed 5 core worlds and 10 colonies, of which another 4 can be cored, and 44 citizens. That's good, but our expansion to the southeast has been blocked by the Onyx Hive. There are more planets to our southwest, and we've not prepared for an early war, so the next move is to grab all the colonies we can, and then shift gears to focus on developing the worlds we have settled. This is classic wide playstyle in 4X, and it does leave us vulnerable to invasion, so be sure to check who your neighbours are before you overextend. this would be a dangerous game to play bumping up with the Drengen, Korath clan or Yor. Now, we'll go as tall as we can. With just one core world, we should feed all colonies back into it to maximise its planetary input. This is a risky strategy, as it leaves us with only one shipyard. Again, this might not be the best way to play if neighbouring very aggressive civilizations. We're mostly relying on our colonies for food, minerals, technology and wealth, and we'll have to build a well-rounded set of improvements to ensure our planetary output is maximised. We don't have to worry about building infrastructure on any worlds, or paying for governors either, but we still need to grow population and build colony ships fast. Grabbing the independence ideology trait will reduce the resources lost from colonies through decay. It's turn 41 again. We've still got just the one core world, 10 attached colonies and 32 population, with 3 potential cores if we decide to develop them, and a handful of others within reach. Our territory is a little smaller than when playing wide, and the Onyx have us hemmed in. But let's take a look at the planetary output on our homeworld. We've built a lot of economic starbases surrounding it, and our growth rate is good. Now, we race up the technology tree and start pumping out warships. Even with only one shipyard, this massive manufacturing output will allow us to build fleets very quickly, and our single core world is very easy to defend. This could form the basis of an interesting game, where we gradually core more worlds to meet the demands of our growth, or take out one of our neighbours in an early war and grab their worlds instead, ruling them from our distant homeworld as part of a great galactic empire. Let's take a look at a civilization perfectly suited to a super wide game, the Mimot. The Mimot's civilization abilities are the key to their exponential growth potential. Fertile gives a 25% bonus to growth, while Proliferation doubles the amount of ships produced, but with 25% less hit points each. This doesn't just apply to military ships. The Mimot will get 2 colony ships, 2 constructors and 2 probes for each one their rivals will field, meaning they scout, colonise and build starbases twice as fast as everybody else. Let's take a look at the size of a typical Mimot empire at turn 41 compared to the Archaeans. With 5 core worlds, 17 colonies, 70 citizens and a large strategic resource economy, it is clear that the Mimot are streets ahead of the Archaeans' efforts at wide play. Let's jump 10 turns ahead and see what the Mimot can achieve if they're unopposed in a sector. 8 core worlds, 26 colonies, 89 citizens and a fully developed economy with 20 starbases. There are powerful enemies in adjacent sectors, but by this point of the game, it's highly unlikely any will have an empire to match the Mimot here. Bear in mind that the Mimot were not penned in by rivals. Typically, their growth is also so high that they'll have to dedicate a large proportion of their infrastructure and citizens to growing food, and if good food sources are scarce, they'll be denied their most powerful ability. But this just goes to show that with some careful play and some space to expand, the Mimot exemplify the wide playstyle like nobody else. And finally, here's an example of a civilization that thrives when playing a tall game, the Drath Freehold. Drath's citizens have a slow growth rate, which forces them to play a taller game than other civilizations would typically aim for. Don't be fooled by the 5 core worlds that Drath Freehold own here. Nearly all their economic might is packed into just 2, Dratha and Nigel 1, and although they've befriended their neighbouring Altarians, they're at war with the powerful Korath clan, who are sending waves of fleets over to invade. Typically, this would be a tough situation for a small-sized civilization to deal with, but the Drath have a trick up their sleeve. Leveraging their great diplomatic relations, the Altarians were bought off and convinced to declare war on the Korath too. And because of the Drath's war profiteers civilization ability, all trade routes with the Altarians, and any other civilizations at war with one another, now bring in double the credits. While the galaxy erupts into chaos, the Drath can sit back, defend their smaller sized empire with ease and rake in the credits, building their industrial war machine and poised for an opportune moment to strike and take territory away from one of their weakened rivals. This is an incredibly fun playstyle, squarely aimed at the most conniving, sneaky and duplicitous of 4X gamers. Galactic Civilization IV Supernova's splitting of core worlds and colonies, in combination with the civilization's traits and abilities, is the foundation for a variety of playstyles. Each civilization can be played in a variety of ways, ensuring that each campaign is a fresh and exciting experience. As always, thanks for watching, and happy gaming.